So biochemical engineering, the translation of biological discoveries through into actual drugs. I think the key thing that's happened in 2016 is really to realise there's an increased pressure from the NHS, the actual government suppliers of drugs, that industry has to respond to. And the industry is responding to that by looking at very novel manufacturing technologies, trying to always force the cost of these to the supplier down. And that's, I think, creating some interesting regulatory headaches and also some interesting engineering challenges which we're responding to. So one of the things we've been doing is looking at novel ways of bringing in new technologies, manufacturing technologies that are more efficient, less costly, and to ensure that industry can adopt those and have the confidence that when they do adopt them, they will fit within the sort of current sort of manufacturing facilities they have. So a lot of the work we've done is looking at the fit between new technologies, innovative ideas and existing footprints, and then thinking about how industry might move forwards in the future to accommodate yet more radical manufacturing solutions. Manufacturing probably comprises about 25 to 30% of the total cost of a drug, and the cost of a new drug is really dominated by the cost of the clinical trials, which are really extensive because you have to make sure the drugs are absolutely safe before they go into patients. But even if, as manufacturing isn't a massive component, it's not the driving component, it's still a very large amount of money. So when you think about the cost of development of a drug being $1 billion, and it may take 6 to 10 years to actually develop a drug, if you can get a manufacturing efficiency, you can and get to the market faster as well. Typically, we reckon we can save about $1 million a day just by getting to the market more quickly and with a process that is actually then more robust. In the new hub that we're running, where we're looking now at manufacturing for individual patients, the actual process of manufacture will have to be very carefully regulated because you'll have no capacity to test that drug before it goes into the patient. So one of the key requirements, one of the key challenges for us is to work with the regulators over probably the next 5-10 years to understand how will the regulatory environment need to be changed and altered to accommodate that really exciting new development. But it's a really challenging question, actually. So one of the things we've innovated in our existing centre is the whole area of what we call ultra scale down, which allows you to take very tiny quantities of material, typical of the amount that would be available in early clinical trials, where you're trying to work out whether the molecule is actually going to be of any benefit, and to use that small amount of material to actually design the complete process. And that's a complete paradigm shift. In the past, what would have happened is that companies would have waited until they got the clinical evidence that the molecule was worth having, and then start thinking about how they might manufacture it. And as a consequence, the manufacturing processes were often very inefficient and difficult to control. And what we've been able to introduce is that sort of sea change in the way in which industry can now get much earlier indication, and also earlier indication through some of the other techniques we've developed to take those tiny quantities of material and understand whether those materials are difficult to handle, difficult to manufacture, so that they go in with the right molecule in terms of its medicinal outcome, but also the right molecule in terms of its ease of manufacture. And up until a couple of years ago, and as a consequence of our centre research, those questions weren't possible to be answered. The thing that's happened most over the last year is the emergence of a whole plethora of small companies interested in the area of personalised medicines. And that's something the UK is leading the world in, perhaps only second to the United States. But what we have is in the UK is a linkage now, I think, between the engineering and the manufacturing know-how and those companies at the real leading edge of the science. So